Hey, what's up guys? Today's video is all about two paths they could go down to fix Dark Magician, and of course we're talking about Konami here. Path number one is to, instead of supporting the vanilla monsters, start making retrains on them. A retrain of Dark Magician Girl, Mana, and Mahad to have more useful effects in the hand and actually be playable cards. This is option number one, and look, these cards are going to need to be on the level of like the cash tier monsters. Honestly, they're going to need to summon themselves and do some extra stuff like searching and banishing as well. Honestly, we're just at that point, unfortunately. Option number two, if they want to keep us playing these vanilla bricks, which is fine by me, they need to make the cards around the bricks overpowered, because we're already playing all these bricks. We need spells that get us going. This is where I hypothesize a Dark Magician starting card on the level of Engage, which Soul Servant was almost, but we need something like a Dark Magical Fusion, something very strong that sets up our pieces, or just spells like the new Blue Eyes support cards are fantastic. We could get something like that, that'd be great too. Anyway, welcome to the rant. I hope you guys enjoy this video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and here's the stream now. DM Retrain should be called Darkest Magician. True. That would be goated. And then in Japan, it could just be Blacker Magician, right? Because they have Black Magician. That's fine. Just this card always identifies as Dark Magician and a vanilla. It needs to not be an effect. It needs to be like Dragon Spirit of White. Okay, this card is always treated as a Blue Eyes card. Okay, it's not exactly Blue Eyes White Dragon, but always treated as a Blue Eyes card is still good, right? Always treated as a Dark Magician card could be good text to have. While this card is treated as a normal monster while in the hand or the grave. So not the deck, but still the hand and the grave, pretty good. That could be something we could have. The always treated as Dark Magician, and this card's treated as normal monster while in hand or grave. Could be good, but we're not done. We're not done. Yeah, this is the one. So the vanilla, Gunkin Suship Shari. This one always identifies as that. This card's name becomes Gunkin Suship Shari, the vanilla, while in the hand, deck, graveyard, or the field. So you can't tell me they haven't done this before for a vanilla, or for like an effect retrain of a vanilla kind of thing. This card literally, in a meme archetype, becomes the name of the vanilla while in hand, deck, grave, field. What? Hello? How has that not happened to us yet, for one? I don't know what else to say. They've done it for the meme deck. Can they do it for our retrained guy? What else does this card do? Reveal one other version of itself? Suship Shari in the hand? Special summon this card from the hand. So what, reveal another copy of itself or the other one? Special summon one Gunkin from deck, but negate it. Oh, special this card and then special from deck. Oh yeah, Harpy's Ladies. That's another great one. Harpy Ladies. This card's name is always treated as Harpy Lady. This card's name is always treated as Harpy Lady. That's Harpy Lady 2 and Cyber Harpy Lady. Harpy Lady 3, this card's name is always treated as Harpy Lady. That's Harpy Lady 3. Where's regular Harpy Lady as well? And Harpy Lady 1. This card's name is always treated as Harpy Lady. What more is there to say? Thank you for the sub, Tony Al.
Ton Yal subscribed to the channel.
There's another one that I was thinking of, but I've forgotten now. There's something else that does a similar thing. But I think my point remains. A Dark Magician retrain needs to be on this level. It needs to read like this. It needs to say if you control, if you control no monsters, or if you only control like dark spellcasters that list Dark Magician, special summon this card from hand. Or grave, why not grave as well? We'll just say from hand. And then you can only use each of the following effects of Dark Magician per turn. During main phase, add a Dark Magician monster from deck to hand, or just Dark Magician card from deck to hand. When this card declares an attack, or if your opponent activates a monster effect, target a face-up card on the field your opponent controls, banish it face down. Why do they get the better removal? We banish face up, because our cards are old. Banishing face down's like the new banishing face up, from back when we got banish face up. So if anything, we should have banish face down, not this deck. So, hear me out. The new Dark Magician is just this card, but with Dark Magician, and Dark Magician stats, and specials itself, and everything's the same, except it searches for Dark Magician cards, right? That's a pretty good start. That's a pretty good start to the vanilla. But, you know, they're probably just going to make it, like, do something really dumb, if they ever do this. The other option is something like this. So if they want us to keep using the vanilla, that's okay. We will keep using the vanilla. we're happy to keep using the vanilla. If they don't want to retrain the vanilla, this is the other option. Make spells that are insane. So the other option is they make a Neo's Fusion style spell for Dark Magician. So like DM Fusion, Dark Magic Fusion. Special summon fusion monster from extra deck that list exactly 2 monsters as material, including, instead of Neo's, Dark Magician, by sending those monsters from hand, deck, field, ignoring summoning conditions. I don't know if we need that text, but let's just leave it for now. For the rest of the turn after this card resolves, you cannot special summon monsters. That's a fair requirement, right? Do it at the end. If a fusion monster you control that lists, we're going to change this to Dark Magician, as material would be destroyed by battle card effect or shuffled into the extra deck by its own effect. That part we can leave off because it's a Neos thing. You can banish this card from grave instead. It's that simple. Neos has this, and Heroes have this and so much more. They have Dark Law, they have DPE, they have Plasma, Turbo, they have the Trap that is also crazy in fusion summons, and they also have this. I don't see an issue with us just having this. Even if they make it say, somehow you can't summon Red Eyes Dark Dragoon. Like, the monster you must summon off this, like, can't use a dragon as material. I don't know, something, like, if they somehow wanted to make it not summon Dragoon, that's fine. If we could just have a 1 card, the Dark Magicians, a 1 card Dragon Knight, a 1 card, I don't know, any of the weaker Dark Magician fusions, Master of Chaos comes to mind as well. That's so much better already, right? It makes the other fusions more viable because they're already so hard to summon. They take like 3 cards to summon and you get there and their effect is weak. Their effect is dog, water. So this kind of card for the deck, I know people would just play it in like a Turbo Dragoon deck, right? Like other decks would go ham with it. So the way to balance it is just don't make it summon Dragoon. We're fine if it doesn't summon Dragoon. As much as I love Dragoon, if we could summon something else in 1 card, I would be playing that, right? So that's another route they could go down, where this is the route they should go down if they want to keep us playing the vanilla, right? The 2 paths we mentioned at the start, it's like, make the vanilla cracked is tier 1, or point 1. The point 2, if they don't want to do that, is, well, you're going to have to make the spells around the deck good, because we're focusing everything on a vanilla. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, make the cards around us good. You know what I'm saying? Let's look at another Neos card. This one's going to be a trap, if I can find it. This one. Favorite Contact. So, we're going to be replacing some words here just to make more sense for Dark Magician. Obviously, Favorite Contact is referencing Jaden saying, like, my favorite cards or some shit. So, it would have to be something else. Eternal Soul 3. But I don't know. It would have to be a reference to Yugi and, like, Faithful Servant or something, right? Something like that. Referencing Mahad and Dark Magician or, like, the artwork or something, right? Special summon a fusion from the extra deck that mentions a Dark Magician monster. We're replacing the hero there. As material, ignoring summoning conditions by placing the fusion materials on it from bottom of the deck to... Wait, what is this? Mentioned on it on the bottom of the deck in any order. From among cards from hand, field, grave, or banished. So, a way to recycle. And, you know, go through the Rotten Souls combo, put everything in the bin, and then trap card fusion summon on the opponent's turn. If you placed Elemental Hero Neos in the deck. Alright, so if you place Dark Magician into the deck, neither player can return the monster special summon by this effect to the extra deck. So, that's cool. Obviously, that's more of a Neos thing, so that could be something else as well. Especially because we don't really want to shuffle Dark Magician back in. But, yeah. Anyway, something like this could be good. Especially if it lets us summon DM from Banished. So, that's pretty good. Heart of the Magicians could be another good name. Great one. From There Are Some Who Call Me Tim. That works too. Well, yeah, Eternal Soul not popping our field would be huge, right? Now, there's other options. There's other avenues they could go down. They could do something like this. Instead of Neos Fusion, Shadow Fusion. Fusion summon a Dark Magician fusion monster from extra deck using monsters from hand or field as material. If your opponent controls a monster special summon from the extra deck... Thank you for the sub,
Anthony Herrera subscribed to the channel.
If your opponent uses a monster from the extra special from the extra deck, if they have it on the field, instead you can use monsters from deck, right? So they can make going second in Dark Magician better. That could be good. That could be helpful. Yes, it's weaker going first, but it's basically Secrets going first, but it has that awesome going second potential, which is huge. Absolutely huge. Another option, I know we're just going to reference other archetypes here, but that's kind of how Yu-Gi-Oh works, right? This is another option. Schism. Main phase. Fusion summon a Dark Magician fusion from extra deck by banishing materials mentioned on it from field or grave. It can't attack directly. Then you can send a face-up monster. Oh, sorry, yeah, send to the graveyard a monster your opponent controls with the same attribute as the fusion summon monster. Doesn't kind of work the same as us because all our attributes are dark, but it's still a send and a fusion summon. It's pretty good. Something like this could be very good. But, unfortunately, it just no exist. Alright, now we're going to jump over to Salad. I know I'm jumping around. Oh, I need to actually type in Salad Man, great. We're jumping around all archetypes where I just take ideas from. Not Rage, sorry, the other one. Raw. Is this it? Yeah, Counter Trap. We don't have a Counter Trap yet in Dark Magician, and quite frankly, that's insane. That's insane to me that we don't. We only got a field spell in, what, 2022? And excuse me, Salvation is not a field spell. This is not a field spell by any regards. We'll get to field spells in a second. Let's go to the Counter Trap for now. We're getting to field spells. Salaman Great Roar. We're going to replace this to, I don't know, Dark Magician Angry Moment. I don't know. You guys think of a creative name in the comments, in the chat right now. But anyway, this is the effect. It needs to be like Dark Magician Counter Trap. When a spell or trap or monster effect's activated, while you control a Dark Magician, it says Link monster, but we could just say Dark Magician monster. Or monster, Dark Magician or monster that lists it in its text. Negate the activation. If you do, destroy that card. Maybe you can make it target the Dark Magician, so you can't do it with Dragoon, to prevent people playing it with Dragoon. I don't know. That's an option. But anyway, negate the activation. If you do, destroy that card. That's not it, though. While this card's in the grave, if a Dark Magician Link monster is Link summoned, I guess if we have a Link, that's fine. Otherwise, just Dark Magician monster is summoned to your field using a monster with the same... Okay, this doesn't work because it's referencing Link summoning with the same material. But let's just say, while this card's in the grave, if you summon a Dark Magician monster or the Dark Magician, you can set this card. And then banish it when it leaves the field. Like, what would be bad about a counter trap that sets itself again for Dark Magician? Literally the deck with the ultimate wizard of attack and defense. We don't have a good defense. What if we had a counter trap that recycled itself if you have Dark Magician on the field or something? Or if you summon a Dark Magician, right? It wouldn't be the worst thing ever. And yeah, Magician's Judgment. Great name. Hallelujah. Thank you. Fantastic. Alright, let's get to field spells, because a lot of you know I wanted a Dark Magician field spell since I was a little kid. Since I was playing DM back in the day. And we had to use Yami. Who remember? Who out here is a Yami enjoyer? We were out here, Dark Magician players. Boost our DM by 200 attack. Let's go! So, we finally... We also use this, right? Village was a great field spell until we got Salvation. And yeah. Salvation came along. I can remember the day I was reading all the new support cards and we got to this and I saw it and I'm like, what an awesome artwork. Magician Salvation, it rhymes with Magician's Navigation, like, oh, great. And I saw all the text on the card and I'm like, oh my god, here we go. And you read the start and it goes, when this card's activated, set Eternal Soul directly from deck. And you're like, okay, can we flip it? No, okay, but still, sets Eternal Soul, cool. Next effect, if you normal special Dark Magician, Dark Magician Girl, target one of those, special summon Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl from grave with a different name than that monster. What? Huh? So if I summon DM, I can summon DMG. If I summon DMG, I can summon DM, but they have to be in the grave. One has to be in the grave, one has to be special. That comes up never. That effect is dog water. Summoning 2 vanillas is so bad. This card was such a miss, it's crazy. It's crazy how bad this card is. Considering it came out in 2022. I'm pretty sure, let's just fact check that really quick. Magician Salvation release date. Sorry, 2021. September 2021. But that would have been OCG. In the OCG. I reckon we would have got it in the TCG. Oh no, TCG. Oh no, we got it like a couple of days later. Okay, we kind of got it at the same time. But let's look at Cash Tira release date. Okay, that's not what I meant. It meant a Led Zeppelin song. Darkwing Blast. When was Darkwing Blast? Darkwing Blast. 2022, a year later. What about Tier Element and their field spell? Which I think was the same set. 2023, OCG had it in 2022. So a year later, some of the most powerful field spells in the game exist. But also, let's just look at when did Magical Meltdown come out? Release date 2017. A field spell from 4 to 5 years nearly before Salvation just does a better job. Add Alistair and say no to fusion summons getting their activation negated. Card good. Card good. How? How was a field spell for the most iconic deck full of spellcasters this dog water? It's a hate crime. It's a disgrace. It's terrible. Now, not to mention, Dark Magician has low stats, so you think we would have got a field spell a little more in line with Pressure Planet Race Dwarf. I don't think I'm saying that last word right, but that's fine. When this card is activated, add a Kashtira from deck to hand. Alone, this field spell's already better, but let's imagine that was add a Dark Magician monster from deck to hand, right? Add Rod Souls, Illusion of Chaos, to Maya's Apprentice, whatever you want. Let's imagine it did that. Monsters you control gain 100 for each different attribute on the field. Even though this would have only boosted you by about 100, 200, that would have made a difference in Dark Magician, where our stats are really not that high. Being able to buff Dragoon a little bit, even Dark Magician a little bit, if he's got Circle Eternal Soul and this to boost him a little bit, it's kind of nice. It's kind of good. Now another effect, if Kashtira Shangri-La you control activates its effect, you can target a card on the field destroyed. So we could change that to, if a Dark Magician monster you control activates an effect, target a card on the field destroyed. Maybe that's a bit too generic. So let's say if a fusion monster that was, if a fusion monster that lists Dark Magician as material activates its effect, you can target a card on the field destroy it. That seems fair. That seems good. Now I understand that this card isn't searchable in Kashtira because it's pretty good, and I know that's a flaw of Kashtira, this not being searchable. And I know Salvation is, so that's the only thing we have on it. Let's look at another field spell. This is a great comparison to make. I know they're two different decks, but it doesn't matter. This field spell, with one discard, kills your opponent through Pot of Prosperity with like 36k worth of damage. During the main phase, fire dragon monsters you control unaffected by your opponent's activated effects. Hello, what? Misk? It's just Misk? Straight away. Okay, sure. During main phase, add a card with Tempai Dragon from deck to hand. Then discard one. So as long as you have a discard, you're playing. And then, if this card's destroyed in the battle phase, target a Dragon Synchro, double its attack. And we all know how that goes. We all know that that puts the 3k dragon on 6k that attacks you 3 times. Now, I'm not saying our field spell has to be this level of OTK. I'm just saying our field spell has to be good. Konami makes good field spells. We know this. What's the Tier Element field spell? I forget its name. This one. Planet. When it's activated, add a Tier Element monster, or Visa Starfrost from deck to hand. Fusion monsters, which is a thing we do, and Tier Element monsters, replace that for Dark Magician monsters. Gain 500. Once again, we would benefit from the 500. If a Tier Element monster you control, or in your graveyard is shuffled into the deck or extra deck, you can target a card on the field, destroy it. So we could change that to like, if a Dark Magician monster you control, or in the graveyard, is destroyed, hey, target a card on the field, destroy it. Just something like that. To like combat Eternal Soul wiping your field. You know, that would be nice if Salvation either counteracted the Eternal Soul wiping your field, or it just prevented it completely, or it wiped your opponent's field instead. There's so many options for Salvation setting Eternal Soul. It could have like fixed Eternal Soul a little bit. Could have activated it. At the bare minimum, Salvation could have activated Eternal Soul on the turn you set it. Oh my god. Oh my god. That's another great point. Labyrinth. I don't know how to spell. Because they spell it different. It's with a Y. Okay. The Labyrinth field spell. If you activate, set Welcome Labyrinth normal trap, add this effect to it. Also, after that, destroy one card on the field. Pretty good. If you activate a non-Labyrinth trap, special a Fiend monster from hand or grave. It's not the best field spell, but it definitely synergizes with their cards to make it pretty effective. And that's what Salvation needed to be. Why isn't it effective with our cards? Why doesn't it do anything? And let's get on to another failed card. Sorry, Magician's combination. This card, oh, where is it? This card had the potential to be good. Must be apostrophe. It is apostrophe. Oh boy. This card it just doesn't know what it wants you to do. It wants you to play Dark Magician Girl, right? But it doesn't want you to have both on the field. It wants you to have one on the field and one in the grave. And then you have a negate. You have to control one of them. And then when your opponent activates a card or effect, you tribute one of them, so the Dark Magician or the Dark Magician Girl. Then you have to special the other one from the hand or grave with a different name from the tributed monster. If you do that, you can then negate the opponent's activated effect. And to kind of counteract, I know a lot of people must have said, hey, Dark Magician gets dusted and, like, you know, twin twisted and we lose. So they put this effect on there. This face-up card sent to the spell trap zone of the grave, destroy a card on the field. And it's like, oh cool, there's a way to, like, come back if this gets popped. But it just never comes up because players activate Lightning Storm, Duster, Twin Twister before they commit to the board. It's the first thing they do. So even if you flip this over in the draw phase of your opponent's turn and go, oh well, it's face up now, so it's getting the, you know, the face up effect. If it's sent to the grave, destroy a card on the field. It doesn't matter because your opponent will always pop your stuff before they commit to the board. So effectively, this card is also useless. No one runs this card because there's just no way to get it online turn 1. Magician Souls can dump one of the bricks. You still need to summon the other one. Well, Souls can summon that one, but you still need to get the other one either in your hand or the grave. Souls can only do one half of that. So what, you're going to Soul Servant then to add the other brick to your hand just to put this online and Rod search this, I guess? I guess that does make a negate technically, but you are losing this negate to like a Bestial, a Called by the Grave, like a hand trap. It's very frustrating. It's very half-baked. It's clear that some of the support kind of wants you to play DMG, and then the other half of the support's like, no, we don't want DMG. So if this was the case, if they wanted us to play DMG like they do with Combination, why doesn't Circle add Dark Magician Girl? Riddle me that. Why doesn't Eternal Soul summon Dark Magician Girl? The only way to summon Dark Magician Girl with Eternal Soul is through Salvation, which I guess is the point of this card. This card is meant to, like, low-key add an effect to Eternal Soul to summon the girl. As hinted by on the artwork, she's, like, dragging him back. But hey, this needed to do more than that. This card setting Eternal Soul and giving it the additional effect to summon DMG, that's not enough. This needed to, quote-unquote, fix Eternal Soul. This needed to make Eternal Soul not pop our board. Activate turn 1. Like, the list goes on. We could have had so many extra effects. It just doesn't really do anything. And it does feel like someone, Kaiser Hero said in the chat, Altergeist. Some of these cards feel like a failed Altergeist card. The control aspect of DM feels like they failed an Altergeist kind of playstyle. Whereas when you look at other elements of the deck, it feels like a failed Sky Striker kind of thing. Like, Soul Servant feels like a Sky Striker Engage. That just doesn't hit the same. It's interesting. DM Skill Drain. Well, that's another good point. You bring up another good point. There is a DM and Blue Eyes Skill Drain card, but they were scared to make them continuous. And here it is, Destined Rivals. This could have been the Blue Eyes and Dark Magician game plan. And yes, I know it would be a Floodgate, and people are like, Floodgate bad. But we're literally playing a vanilla deck. I can't think of a better deck to, like, have a searchable Skill Drain. You know what I'm saying? Monarchs had their own, True Draco had their own. It kind of makes sense for a deck that resolves around a vanilla guy to kind of have its own skill drain. And this was nearly that. Destined Rivals came along to say, if you got DM or Blue Eyes, yo, negate the effects of all face-ups your opponent controls, which on paper sounds really good. But when you think about it, your opponent's going to start their turn, and they're probably going to play like their board wipes first, or their interruptive cards first, right? They're probably going to play their Cosmics, their Dusters, their Lightning Storms. Not that they're going to have them game 1, but you know what I mean? They're going to play some removal first, or they're going to set up Castor Fenrir first. And you're going to have to blow Destined Rivals on something like that. And then they're going to start their actual dex combos. Normally, this card is searchable imperm, as Kaiser Hero said. Which doesn't sound that bad, but it is because you need Dark Magician on the field. Which means your Magician Souls is not summoning itself and sending cards for draws. Right? And it means you're not going into a link or something. You're just leaving a vanilla on the field to give yourself a negate 1, essentially. You're basically getting yourself an imperm. It just doesn't really make sense. It really doesn't add up. Because, yeah, while it negates all face-up monsters your opponent controls, that's only ever going to be one card. Because you're probably going to need to flip it the second they do their first summon. Like, I feel like 90% of the time you're going to have to flip this on their first special or normal. So, like, when do they ever summon multiple monsters at the same time that are all going to be resolving effects? It's pretty rare. So, if this was a continuous spell, kind of a continuous trap, sorry, kind of a different story. Kind of a different story. And yeah, as Hallelujah said, Salvation wants one on the field to summon the other, and then Combination wants one in the field, one in the grave, or hand. It just gets confusing. Let's talk about another strange card, Dark Magic Veil. Clearly meant to be a Dark Magician monster reborn. Pay 1000 LP, special, a Dark Spellcaster from hand or grave. It's not a Dark Magician card though. It doesn't list Dark Magician anywhere on it, which they could have put text to say this card's always a Dark Magician card. Or treat it as one. But it's not, so Circle can't add this. So this could have been like a cool extender, at least back in the day when it came out. It could have been a cool extender. Instead of playing Monster Reborn, you could have played this. Pretty nifty one-of, but you know, it could bring back Dragoon, it could bring back any of the fusions, could summon a DM Brick from your hand if you really had to. Like, it's versatile. You never want to summon from hand, but yeah, why does this not count? It's very strange. It's very strange. Curtain's been retrained into Souls, Magician Souls, which the cards are next to each other, so that makes a lot of sense. This is a card we could talk about. We could get a retrain of 1000 Knives. I know this is the Rush Duel version, but the artwork just looks nice. We could get a retrain of this, so Eternal Soul can actually search this, and it could be like a hand trap. 1000 Knives, that is like a quick effect, discard this, and you can just treat it as a quick play spell like hand trap kind of thing. Part of me would make Eternal Soul searching it kind of nuts. Or the 1000 Knives could be a monster. That's, once again, a hand trap that's searchable off Eternal Soul, but yep, that's something that's cool. The Rush Duel support in Dark Magician we can definitely have a look at. Magician Sense. When your opponent normal specials, while you have 3 or more spells engraved, set up to 2000 Knives, Dark Magic Attack, or Dark Resonance Burst from grave to your spell trap zone. Then you take no battle damage from your opponent's level 9 or lower attacks this turn. Okay, wild. Jewel of the Dark Magician. Special, a Dark Magician, a Dark Attribute Spellcaster with 2500, and or Dark Attribute Spellcaster with 2000 from hand or grave face up to your field. So specials DM and DMG. Interesting. Dark Resonance Burst. Choose a face-up level 6 or higher Tribute Spellcaster. Gains 1000 till the end of the turn. Then if you have Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl face-up, the chosen monster gains an additional 1000. Interesting, so a 2k boost. In Rush Duel, like, this seems pretty good. This is the classic, destroy all spell traps your opponent controls. Dark Magic Attack, you love to see it. This is interesting. The Curtain got a retrain in Rush Duel as a monster. Pay 700, excavate top 4, choose 2, excavate a Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl, add them to hand, place the rest on the bottom. Kinda sick. In TCG, this would have to, like, special itself. Like, we're not normaling this, but kind of sick that it's a retrain as a monster, and he's, like, a cool skeleton guy. Right? That's kind of awesome. I really dig that. Yo! Mature Dark Magician? Huh? Dark Sage, too? This looks AI generated. Send a Dark Attribute Spellcaster from hand to grave, draw a card, then if you special summon... Then you can special summon a Dark Magician from grave face up. It's kind of sick. Like, I know this is a different format. This is Rush Duel, which is a way different format. So for Rush Duel, this seems good. TCG would have to change this card a lot, obviously. There's more, though. Dark Executor Warlock. I don't think I'm saying that right, but anyway. Requirement, send top of deck to grave. That's a lot of Rush Duel cards requirement, by the way. This turn, this card's effect, this card's name, becomes Dark Magician. Then you can shuffle 10 spells from your grave to the deck if you do destroy a face-up level 8 or lower on your opponent's field. Interesting. It gives a Dark Magician monster an effect. And if you can shuffle 10 spells, so that's another thing. Not decking out in Rush Duels is pretty cool, so interesting. Interesting. I love these cards. They're so cool. I wish they would do more stuff like this in the TCG. It's kind of baffling that they just focus on Rush Duel support now, right? For anime decks. Can we just point out that Dark Magician Girl, sick artwork. She gains 500 attack in Rush Duels. Not the biggest change, but she's still just better in Rush Duels than she is in TCG, even though she's still a brick. Just wild to me that they would do that. Kind of crazy. But there's more. I swear there's more. Maybe it's only in Duel Links, but there's a Knight Dark Magician card. Dark Magic Knight? Oh, I don't know what he's called. Knight Magician, maybe? I'm gonna type in Knight and see if I can find it. Apologies, I'm not really prepared for this one. Does anyone know the name of it? 500 is the original OG manga effect. Why is that not the TCG? It makes no sense, right? It's not like the card would be busted. It would just be slightly better. Maybe there's a way I can filter for Rush Duel only. Card pool. Rush Duel. Apply. Okay, it's an effect monster and it's... Oh, I don't think it's here. It's in Duel Links. Does anyone know what I'm talking about? Dark Flare Knight? It's not Dark Flare Knight. It's a Dark Magician Knight card. It's an effect monster though in Rush Duels. Does anyone know the card I'm talking about? It's okay if you don't. We're just going to struggle for a bit on stream trying to find it. I think it's spelled like this actually with the K. Is Rush Duel different to... Like Rush Duel IRL different to Rush Duel and Duel Links? I assume Duel Links wouldn't have different cards. I assume they'd be like the same pool. But I could be wrong. Swordstone? I don't think it's Swordstone. Unless it's just not... Let's use Google. Duel Link... Dark Sword Magician. Thank you, Dark Sword Magician. That's why it wasn't coming up. Dark Sword. Here it is. Thank you. Who was that? Austin. Thank you. No, sorry. It was Kaiser Hero. Thank you, Kaiser Hero. So there's this. They've made like a Dark Magician Knight retrain, basically, in Rush Duel as well. And it's hella sick. Spellcaster, he's got the swords, he's got the circle behind him. Dark Sword Magician, he's got almost DM stats, not quite. The 25 attack though. So no requirement, just effect. If you have 6 or more spells engraved, this card cannot be destroyed by opponent's card effect. Pretty cool. Pretty sick. Also, if the number of face-up level 7 or higher on your opponent's fields exceeds the number of monsters you have, special this from hand. Which is cool in Rush Duel, because normally you have to tribute summon. So just being able to special this, hella sick. And that's what I'm talking about, right? Dark Magician in Rush Duel just goes hard. It just goes hard, dude. So you can see there's a lot of cool cards for Dark Magician in Rush Duel. And the artworks too. The artworks go really, really hard. I think you've all seen the Dark Magician Rush Duel art. The insanely good one. If you know what I'm talking about. This one where it's like coming out of the card. Why can we not use this in TCG? This is such a bad scan of it. It looks amazing in real life. This is a terrible scan of it, but oh, you can't see it. Like, this is it over here. It looks so good in real life. Like, it's unreal. And we can't use that in TCG. So that's a bit of a scam as well. So not only are we scammed out of cool rarities, we're scammed out of good cards as well. I don't know if this rant needs to go on much longer, but I think you can see my point. Another person's mentioned, we could get like a magical hatch retrain for our counter trap, or just a trap in general. That could be really good, right? Anyway, I gotta go now, but thanks for watching, everybody. I'll catch you guys next stream. Peace.